Ojo Aba Meta Meta, third Saturday in October, 29th in Seawall, Galveston, Texas. Galveston, formerly known as Turtle Island, was a marketplace block for selling human cargo during the transatlantic slave trade. That cargo was many of our ancestors who never chose to be enslaved. We must not let this truth of history be revised, and there were others of our ancestors who were already here, drying their eyes from trails of tears. Fourth Saturday in autumn equinox, Libra season, third decan, harvest season. The season where Onile, or the spirit of Mother Earth, thins the veil between Orun, heaven, and earth. Aye. The collective voice of our ancestors amplify their presence, hence All Hallows Eve, Halloween, Dia de los Muertos, and Sankofa, the caravan to the ancestors. These celebrations all fall like leaves off a tree during this season. Sankofa. It means to go back. It means to go back to give thanks and praises to the Creator, regardless of the name in which we call him or her. To remember our ancestors, the ones we know not by name, and their ultimate sacrifice. We go back to remember our recent ancestors and the wisdom their lives left behind. We go back to reflect on where we've been, to be clearer on where we are headed. And this is my personal diary of the last decade of experiences while attending the Sankofa Caravan to the Ancestors, hosted by the Houston chapter of the National Black United Front, and how these experiences changed my life. I'm my Aunt J. Muse, and you are watching and listening to Sankofa Mewa, the Diary of 10 Caravans. Ashe. Sankofa 2019. Grandma's Lace Curtains. Pataki. Oni mi ojo abameta. Owara mokidilogun. Odun egbawa mokidilogun. Mejidilogun. Awonojo egba horu. Translate Diary. Today is Saturday, October 19th, 2019. 28 days and 2 autumn equinox. This is the 3rd year in a row that the day vibrated on a 5, a day for releasing the fullness of self. The moon was waning in the 4th house of crab season, and it was a 3-year, ideal for keeping an eye on choices and crossroads. My new space expanded to a house at a crossroad, complete with a strong Egun presence. Its previous occupant was a friend of mine, now an ancestor, Libations, so it was a space I was already familiar with. While unpacking, I came across a tiny vintage suitcase. It was the suitcase that my mother carried when she gave birth to my oldest brother. It was full of my grandmother's white lace curtains. Their touch, their scent, brought visions of my ancestors, particularly from the female side of the lineage. I thought, why not honor them all by wearing these as my whites for Sankofa this year? Pretty bizarre thought, but downloads only weigh on my head so long before I manifest them into reality. So I took a couple of the curtains and I made a skirt. I took one more for a veil, wore some white yoga pants underneath. Our Ile was attending in a large group this year, and we were to be under our own tent. I enjoyed handling up on preparing the offerings that our group would take to the water. On my hard plastic pastel green plates, I created an adimu, or food offering. The spread was of various lentils, rosemary, cast iron skillet cornbread, homegrown grapefruits and rare lemons, pound cakes and yellow flowers. Yeye showed up from out of town and surprised us all on Sankofa's Eve. Of course, she brought more honey and molasses. We arrived on the water very shortly after dawn. We set up our tent, my adimu spread, and enjoyed more of a relaxing family experience, as there were members of our Ile that brought members of their families. I took a minute to allow myself to enjoy the bliss of just the ocean sounds, until the engulfing drums sounded upon the arrival of the caravan. When the drums got louder and I heard the voice of the officiating, I knew it was time for the main ceremony. I delivered some sacred jewelry, specially made for another potential member of the temple, made sure my yeye was cool, then I set out to dance. On the way into the circle, I was smudged by an omoeshu and gave ilukere to a couple of sisters on my way in. I love the giving and receiving of positive ashe. The energy was strong and harmonious this year. There were moments where I wore my veil over my face, dancing deeper with the wind. I went deeper into the water than ever before to make my offerings and to give thanks. When I returned to the shore, a wave crashed a bit harder than all the other waves, and Yemoja threw something in the hem of my skirt. The lace of my grandmother's curtain snagged it. It was a piece of wood in the particular shape of a being. It looked like a duck, and had I been wearing any other skirt, I may not have received this lovely gift from the ocean. I love when the mothers give and confirm that blessings were received, because my offering did not wash back upon the shore. Ashe.